Phil, hello.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm great, man. Thank you for taking time to talk today.
No worries.
I got to tell you, you've been my favorite guitar player since I was a little kid. So,
Oh, thank you.
and I've interviewed a lot of people, but I was really looking forward to this. I think my first guitar was actually like a Jackson knockoff of some sort, but it kind of looked like the Dinky, so I had to have it.
Fantastic. Wow. You still got it?
I don't have that one. No, not anymore. We're excited to see you guys come back to town. It's been a few years since you've been here.
Absolutely, yeah. It has. You know, we did play somewhere in Montana last year, but we didn't do Billings. It has been a long time. I can't even remember what year it was.
2007 or 8, I believe.
Really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah. It's been long enough. We're ready to see you again. Out on tour with REO Speedwagon and Tesla. Now, you've toured with both of those bands before, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. And what's interesting about the Tesla thing, I'm actually producing the new album.
Oh, really?
So we're actually going to be doing that while we're out on tour, you know, backstage and hotel rooms and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's going to be really exciting.
Was Tesla played with you guys when you did the In the Round back in the 80s, right?
Yeah, they were actually the first band that they were the first band to actually play on that stage. So they were like the sacrificial lamb, you know. So it's and we're really good friends. Actually, Brian Wheat, the bass player, came down to my house. He stayed over the weekend and had a blast. And yeah, so we're really close to those guys, and it's just a lot of fun. Always touring with them.
And you've toured with just about everybody by now. Who's been your favorite band to be on tour with?
Well, I love playing with Tesla. It's great. It's like it's a no-brainer. But we've had some great touring partners. You know, actually, when we toured with Kiss, we had such a great time. It was both bands pulling together to make the most amazing show. You know, it wasn't like a kind of a competition or anything. Everyone was like pulling together to make sure that both bands and the whole show as an event was really special. And that was really interesting because we've actually been out there before and people don't adopt that attitude. Kiss were just amazing, I've got to say. You know, Paul and Gene are just wonderful touring partners. You know, actually, and we've always been really lucky. We've got on great with a lot of the bands we've toured with, but Styx and kind of REO, Foreigner, yeah, everyone. We always have a blast.
And you guys just recently released the self-titled album Def Leppard. That came out in October. And before we get into that and before we get into your book, I do want to talk about your solo project real quick, which I just discovered very recently, Delta Deep.
Right. Yeah, loving that. We actually we're releasing a live album. We actually just done an East Coast run. We played some East Coast days. It was actually snowing in Boston when we played there about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Which was pretty weird. And then we done a West Coast run earlier in the year. So we've been recording all this, and we're going to be releasing a live album this summer. And we've already started work on our next studio album. I was actually doing a demo last night, actually. So that's going to be probably next year.
It's a really cool sound. It's not very Def Leppard like at all.
Right. Thank you. Yes, it's different.
Robert DeLeo from the Stone Temple Pilots on the bass.
Right.
That's how did you team up with him?
We're all kind of local. You know, I live in California, and I didn't realize that he was such a disciple of Motown and kind of funk and everything. And a friend of mine, Chris Epton, who I'd done the book with, said, "Hey man, have you met Robert DeLeo?" I said, "No." He said, "Oh, you'd love him. You'd love his playing." And I played in the demos for the album. He's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I love this stuff." So that's really how that started, and then when we played together, it just kind of it turned into this monster. And with Forrest Robinson on drums and Debbie Blackwell Cook on vocals, it was just a beast. That's the only way I can describe it. Kind of, it's one thing recording and talking about it, and that, but when you actually play live with these guys, it just kind of goes up a notch, and the level goes up. It seems extra loud and muscular and all the above. It's just a great kind of vibe. I can't really explain it, but yeah, we're loving that.
I didn't know that you were such a Motown fan either.
Absolutely. You know, it's when I was a kid, you know, I'd sing along to like Stevie Wonder and anything like that. I remember getting goosebumps and chills listening to Aretha Franklin when I was a kid. So and Tina Turner, I loved her voice. So R&B and soul, especially really expressive soul, Al Green, yes, certainly Stevie and all the other stuff. It just kind of blew me away. So I just loved any kind of music that kind of had a vibe and had a verb to it, and kind of meant what it was doing. So yeah, I just really got into that, as I did, Zeppelin, Purple, and everything else as well. Well, in a very different way.
And Debbie Blackwell Cook, who's the vocalist on Delta Deep, is your mother-in-law. Is that correct?
She's my wife's godmother.
Oh, okay.
So, and she sung at our wedding, and she's been singing since she was 2. She's 62 now, and it's she just has this amazing voice. And again, when you hear her live, it just turns into something else. It's kind of it's almost like possession or something. It just goes somewhere else. It's amazing.
Yeah, she does have an incredible voice, and we're looking forward to some more stuff from Delta Deep. And you just recently wrote a book?
Yes, yeah, that came out just towards the end of last year. Again, I didn't really want to write a book. Again, Chris Epton said, "Hey, man, you should do this. It's interesting. It's not like the regular sex, drugs, rock and roll kind of thing. It's about the journey, and your journey. It's a little bit different." So I said, "Oh, no one's going to be interested." And then he actually came back with 5 offers from publishing companies. I said, "Really? Okay." And that's really how it went from there, really. And then my wife Helen helped, with the writing of it, because I actually wanted it to be me and not, me and Chris done a bunch of interviews, and he laid it all out, got it all chronologically correct, and put all these amazing kind of historical things, in there as well. And then we just done it, in my voice. So it's actually me talking. So it was great. Yeah.
And the new album, self-titled, which is kind of funny. How many is this? Like this is the 11th album now?
I don't know, actually, because when you count the live album, do you count the best of? So it's a few, but it's the first album that we actually done that was purely for us. There was no record company or an executive or a business agenda. It was like us. We went in to write a single or one song, and just got really excited about these new songs. Everyone was going, "Oh, then try this." Sav said, "I got this song," and Joe would be, "Oh man, try this," and we really got excited about it. And before you know it, we had like 14 songs. So it was great, and that's hence we called it Def Leppard, because it really was about us.
Well, and it really is one of the best Def Leppard albums, at least the best since, I can't even pick. Adrenalize?
Oh, thank you.
Hysteria,
Thank
maybe?
you. Yeah, that's great.
And we heard Let's Go all over TV the last few months.
Right.
What was that, for a football or something, right?
Yeah, that was really good. They picked it up on NFL, picked it up, so that was really cool. So it's great when you do new songs. They don't get accepted very readily.
Uh-huh.
So it's an interesting thing. You have to it has to soak in before people start singing along to it. But this summer will be our first real opportunity to promote the new album. So the stage set's going to be different. The song choice is going to be slightly different. Obviously, we've got to play all the hot chestnuts, the Boston Sugar, the photographs and stuff like that. But it's going to be slightly different. It's going to look different, and we're going to be doing some of these new songs.
What's your favorite song to do live?
I always liked doing Rocket. I thought that kind of summed up the band, in a nutshell, as a concept. It's got big vocals, big drums, chants, huge guitars, and everything. But so I always liked doing that. I do like playing newer songs live. Every artist, wants to play their new stuff, and no different here. We'd love it if we could just play a whole new album, but you obviously can't do that. You have to kind of do what the Stones do, and they kind of integrate it carefully into the set. So I'm excited about that, actually, just of where the placement is and all of that stuff as well.
Well, it's been a rough year already for musicians. We're just losing Prince. We lost Lemmy. We lost Bowie, and I know you're a huge Bowie fan.
Yeah, and I was a huge Prince fan as well. I was, since way back. I was into him. When he released 1999, and I was a huge Purple Rain fan. And then I got everything, including, bootlegs off of the mixing desk and stuff. I've got some killer live stuff that it would just float around. When you're in Japan, they used to have these bootleg stores, and
Right.
you'd get these albums, and they're immaculate. They sound like a regular album, and Prince was so amazing that even his worst night would sound like someone's produced album or something.
Right.
So it was pretty cool. So it's been a real tragic year for that, and I think there's less and less new artists coming about that are that important. So it's really tragic when you lose someone that was so inspiring to you.
Well, and when we lost Bowie, it reminded me, my favorite Def Leppard performance, I don't even remember what video it's from, but I have it on VHS somewhere, was when you guys were in that pub on the stools with the acoustics doing Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, yeah, it was at Wapentech, I think, in Sheffield. It's where the band first started, so it was just going back to there and just doing an acoustic version of some stuff. So, that was in the 90s some point, I think.
Yeah, that was an incredible performance. And we just recently saw you on Pawn Stars.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. How did that happen?
That was great. They had I done 30. I splashed paint on 30 guitars and signed my name in Japanese with white ink. And for Jackson Guitar's 30th anniversary, I play a Jackson PC1, a Phil Collen one, and I've done for almost 20 years when we released that model, and a lot of people really like it. And so they said, it's our 30th anniversary. Is there anything you could do special? So I'd done 30 of them, and I'd done like 10, practice runs, artist-proof ones, and that was one of those. And they needed me to come in and verify that it was actually one of those guitars. And what's interesting, I've actually seen, I've seen these guitars come up in Japan, Australia, England. They went all around the world. In the States, the people, they go, I've got one of those 30. So it was interesting actually to do that. But it was definitely one of them. My signatures on the back and all the splashing and everything. So it was cool. And I played it, and it's great. It's really cool.
That's got to be really fun to see those pop up all over the place like that.
It is, and I've got my one. I'm actually bringing it out on tour this year. I'll be playing that one as well. So just because they obviously got a lot of kind of love this summer or whenever that was. I think it was actually at the beginning of the year, or actually last year. So I'll be playing that around this tour as well.
Well, man, we can't wait. Def Leppard, REO Speedwagon, and Tesla rocking the Rimrock Auto Arena at Metro Park coming up September 14th. I wish we didn't have to wait so long, man. I wish it was sooner.
Me too. We're good to go, though. We start rehearsing. I fly out to Florida tomorrow, and off we go. We start rehearsing. We'll be with you in no time at all.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Phil, thank you very much for taking time today. Like I said, this was a lot of fun for me.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you. Anytime.
And we'll see you in September.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.